What's going on, guys? It's Avon Doherty here with ADTCG. I'm really excited to bring y'all like my first deck profile ever that I've personally recorded. I'm really excited. I took this to the Tulsa Regional and I absolutely had a blast. And hopefully I can make a lot more content moving forward. I absolutely love the process. I love working with people. I love getting to record my personal progress and my journey in this game. Trying to become a really good duelist and to try to like win a regional, top of YCS, stuff like that. So this is kind of me giving y'all insight into my process and what I think, and hopefully I'll get to see a lot of growth out of me, and y'all get to see me move forward and do some pretty amazing things. That's my goal. So before I get in, of course I played Live Twin, but I want to go ahead and shout out Ryan Martinez. I wouldn't be playing this deck if it wasn't for him. I love this deck a lot. I enjoy it. It's one card starter with a bunch of hand traps, so I really enjoy it. Thanks to him, I was able to pick it up and I was able to play with it and find something that I like other than Salamangreat, which everyone knows me for. So shout out to Ryan for introducing me to the deck and play testing with me and stuff. Shout out to Cody Thomaside for letting me stay with him for the regional. Shout out to Juan for traveling with us. Shout out to literally everyone from OKC. Everyone was so nice and so genuine. I felt so welcomed into their group. I showed up and I was friends with Cody, and I was immediately, taken in. Eric was really, really nice to me the whole time. The guy who ended up winning it, walked up to me, saw me playing it, and slapped down all the starlights and CRs and let me play it for the tournament. Unfortunately, I didn't do the name well, but, he had to stroke a good karma and pushed it forward, and he ended up winning the whole thing. He went like 9-0. What a boss, So shout out to him for letting me, get the itch for all the high rarity stuff. Shout out to all the guys from Hatters that I get to play test with every week. And most of all, shout out to my girlfriend for allowing me to go on this journey without her. This is the first time I ever traveled really out of state without her. And, I missed her a lot, but she allowed me to go do this. And I had a lot of fun doing it, and I kept her updated the whole time. And she was cheering me on from home. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So for one of the first regionals back, so I participated in the Lubbock regional, but I didn't play this, so I'm gonna count this as like my first regional back. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. This deck is really, really good. I played 14 starters and a bunch of hand traps. So the math basically was I had like an 85% chance guaranteed to open a starter plus 2 hand traps, which is what I wanted, right? Plus whatever else. That was a bonus. So of course we play 3 pink, 3 blue, and then one of the extenders of both. You don't want to see a whole lot of these because you really want to be like searching them. You want to open like, theoretically, you want to open like 3 hand traps and then like a kid plus one of your spells. Because that's enough to be able to like push you through, eat interruptions, and then, search extenders and then keep playing. You're never really going to resolve more than one of these a game, so you never really want to see more than one of them. And there's no reason to play more than one of them. And then the level 8, you don't really want to see this. It doesn't really do anything for you. It's kind of cute being able to like, tribute over your 2 link monsters, attack, because there's times you have like a trouble sending 2 link monsters and you just don't want to waste a trouble sending. So you can like, you've sent this off a trouble sending. You can use this effect, send your 2 link monsters, summon this, and you've got 33, 44, and then you can tribute the trouble sending back for your other 2 for game. Which is a cute little thing that I did in one of my games. So it was nice having the utility. And then we have 3 secret password, 3 snitch, 1 home. So technically we have 12 1-card starters, and then we have 3. So I guess we have 15 starters, right? And then we have 3 like 1.5 card starters basically. So I really wanted to max out on the amount of 1-card starters that I could have. And the 3 behind Small World, a lot of the Prank Kids decks are doing the same thing where they're like searching out engine pieces and stuff. So in this deck, I wanted the same idea, the same theory, where if I open up a bunch of hand traps about Small World, then I can still hand trap my opponent to death and then like search a kid, right? And turn like dead hand traps into kids. Because I played so many hand traps, not every hand trap was live in every matchup. So I wanted the flexibility to be able to turn those into, utility cards for me. And then likewise, if I open up multiple like starters and I don't get really hand trapped, I can do my whole combo. Then at the end of my combo, I can like Small World, turn some of my dead extenders and cards in my hand into like a scythe or into to another hand trap like a nib or an ash or really whatever. It also gave me the flexibility to like if they clear my board and they just have like a DPE, which happened a lot in the grind game where it was just, my deck versus a DPE, I could like Small World, search out a Bell, like normal a kid, like let him pop it, resolve the kid, summon one of the other kids, and then like Bell negate his DPE in grave. So that was pretty cool. And utility was nice. I don't know if I would play it going forward because I think I might just play 2 home and cut the list down because I'm at 42 currently. So might make it 41 or 40 because there wasn't a lot of scythe, and I'll get into that a little bit later. For my hand traps, I played a lot of them. I played 3 nib. I believe I played 16, right? 3 nib, 3 ogre, 3 veiler, 3 imperm, and then 2 ash, 2 bell, right? So we played 3, 6, 9, 12, 16 hand traps. So the likelihood of opening 2 is really, really, really high in a 42 card deck. And they worked really, really well all weekend. The biggest fault of my hand traps was me using them incorrectly. What I learned was my deck deals with DPE very well, so there were times where I would like use my hand traps to negate their starting plays. They would make an Anaconda, I would like Impermavalorate, and that was my last interaction in hand, and then they would just combo off because they baited my cards with, Anaconda. But what I'm going to do moving forward is allow them to resolve it, because it means that they'll have cards in hand, but it means I get to hold my interactions, right? I get to properly control what I want to do, and there's nothing that they can really play with because they'll have a bunch of like cards in their hand that they didn't get to use and a DPE. And this deck chews through DPE like no one's business, especially if I open like a droplets. I can literally like let them do their whole thing, use their DPE, like chain droplets, and just like send it with the trouble sunny and do a lot of damage. So I loved that. I loved the flexibility. I loved the amount of hand traps. They all worked really, really well. Bell was kind of like the only one that I was a little iffy on. I didn't see it a whole lot. When I did see it, it wasn't like super impactful. So yeah, if you want to know my matchups and what I played against, I'll be posting a video later. It's going to be a longer video, probably like a 30-minute rant about it. But then I have 3 droplet for my last going second card. Droplet was insane. I think droplet in this deck is really, really special because you can like normal a kid going second. Declare the effect, they'll attempt to negate or whatever, then you can like droplet send the kid, negate whatever you want, like send cards out of your hands, like trouble sunny plus a kid, negate a bunch of stuff, like negate like 2 cards, and then you get to still resolve your kid and combo on them. So in this deck, it's really, really nice, and I love droplet. Droplet was just insane. The only deck it's like against is Flunder, and that's just a horrible matchup, so I don't want to talk about that. I play the 1 scythe, 3 cross out, 1 called by. These cards were so good all weekend. This card's insane. Like, if it wasn't, there were times where I'd open like 2 or 3 hand traps, cross out, and then 1 single kid. And so I only had 1 kid, and I couldn't play the interaction all that well. And I could just like normal summon a kid and knew that I had the insurance, right? So like let them hand trap me, negate the hand trap, and then if they nib me, we go 1 for 1. But then I have 3 hand traps in hand to follow up for their turn. So these cards were all insane. I'm going to continue maining them. They were nuts. And then the 1 scythe, it was kind of cute. There were times where I was able to like search it and then pop it and win games that way. It was mostly there so I didn't get scythe. So if I opened up cross out and my opponent attempted to scythe me, I could just, cross out the scythe and then not have to worry about it. But I didn't get scythe at all weekend. So in theory it was pretty good, but in practice it didn't really do anything. But I'm going to keep it there, So moving, Flunder is by far this deck's worst matchup. So my side deck was really built around that deck because my main deck was really built for combo, like as you saw with all the hand traps. So first, I have the 1D shifter as a crossout target. I didn't want to auto lose to this card, so I wanted to make sure that like I could side 1 in against the Flunder matchup and just would, not auto lose because this card's super unfair. To kind of go with that, I also sided 2 Raigeki. These are my 3 like really, really heavy anti-Flunder cards because this was cross out and then Raigeki just deals with their board so well. Like you can just let them do whatever they want and then Raigeki their board and then like then they have to use their map or their Jumiatsu to like completely restart their combo and try to like get where they can, and then you can pick apart their board, which is super, super good. I didn't get to really see these all weekend because I only played 1 Flunder and it was my last round, and poor guy bricked both games. So I didn't really get to use any of this, but in theory, it seems pretty good. We'll see how it is moving forward. And then I cited a ton of back row hate because this deck hates back row. So 3 Twin, Cosmic, Red Reboot, Harpies. I feel like this is a really good number. 7 back row removal cards in my deck. Just felt really, really good. The times that I needed them, I saw them. Except my rounds, what was it, like round 7 where I played Mystic Mind Burn. I didn't open any of my starting hand, and then he just kept stacking me, so wasn't much I could do there. But other than that, I saw Harpies, I saw Twin, Cosmic. Everything was really, really good. I like the back row because I didn't want to play against Eldritch and lose to Skill Drain. So I kind of wanted to just, mitigate that as much as I could. And then for going first, we have 2 talents, and then what was supposed to be 3 Mistaken Arrest. I couldn't find a third one last minute, so I ended up playing Droll and then 2 Mistaken Arrest. This card was supposed to be really, really cute. I didn't get to resolve it except in like 1 or 2 games, and it didn't really do anything because I was losing those games anyways. But theoretically, it's really, really good against Flunder, and it's pretty decent against like Brave Token decks because they'll like activate, they'll activate Aquamancer. You chain this, they don't get the search, and then they don't like, especially against like base, they don't get their Basil Shoot, they don't get to search like any of the other stuff. So it's pretty good against them, and against Flunder, you can activate it, and they're not only locked out, so if you activate it going second, you can like chain it to their normal summon off a map, like Rabina. They don't get the search, and then they don't get to search on their turn either. So you basically lock them down for 2 turns. So in a way, this is my shifter against them. So they don't get to play on my turn or their turn. And it's super good. And then talents was just, because everyone's playing a lot of hand traps, I wanted like basically like a second and third called by to allow me to like rip a card if I have an extender or do whatever I needed to do. I didn't get to resolve it because I didn't really see it, but in theory the side deck was supposed to work really well. I didn't really get to see it a whole lot. I saw my back row cards, and that was about it. Mistaken Arrest kind of put in some work, but hopefully for Houston it works a little bit better. For the extra deck, pretty standard as well. Shout out to Ryan for signing my card. So it's pretty standard. 2 blue, 3 pink, right, and then 3 the best card, Trouble Sunny. This card's insane. I love this card so much. I didn't realize how like insane it was until I started playing the deck, and I started playing the deck, and it's just crazy. Like the amount of advantage you get off of this card's insane. Being able to like, especially if you have like a Frost Engrave, so you'll draw one on your turn, you draw another one on your turn with this effect, and then you'll like frost draw, you'll pop a card, you'll send a card. Like you have the ability to clear boards so well, it's crazy. And then it's big, so it's 33, it's hard to get over. So that was that for those. I think I've been thinking about playing a third blue, but honestly, if you play it right, you shouldn't ever need it. I'm like relatively new to the deck, and I never run out of blues. So if you're running out of blues, then you're probably playing something wrong, or I'm just ignorant and I don't know how to play right. But I think it's more of the latter. So, it's more the first, right? I kind of know how to play, so you don't need that many blues. So for my other links, Lingaribo, Dark, Unicorn, Transcode. This spot is kind of up in the air. People play Abomination, but I felt like there's so many hand traps running around that Abomination doesn't really do anything for you. And if you're running out of Trouble Sunnies, that's really the only time you make it. And if you're out of Trouble Sunnies, then you're probably going to lose anyways. So these cards are really good. This card in theory was supposed to be really, really good. I made it once against a Sword Soul Tinny player where I knew he had like the Griffin set up, and I wanted my Zeus to resolve. So I like used my first I activated a kid, summoned a kid, special to Frost from hand, and then turned one of them into this, and then used the other 2 to make a Sky Cavalry Centuria, so that way I could like Zeus him, and then that would protect it against Imprim, which it did its job. It did pretty well. So that was that. But Unicorn was insane. The theory behind Dark was I can like clear boards, or I can like send a DPE, right? And then like start my place, take the DPE, keep the DPE, and then use my kid in this to like play, so that I'll have all of my full combo plus a DPE. I didn't get to resolve this really, so I don't know. I'll probably continue playing it moving forward, but I'll just have to do more testing on it. Oh, and there's a Triple Sunny there. Hello, Triple Sunny. And then Transcode is really good. I OTK'd a bunch of people with it because you just like, you have this, right? You link Clam into a Trouble Sunny. Because what you do is, if you have your 2 kids, let me show you this because it's kind of important, right? You have your 2 kids, you hand trap your opponent to death, they can't play, right? So you start your turn with these 2. So what you'll do is you'll like normal summon literally anything, a hand trap, whatever. So you'll link like blue, or you'll link like pink, and that hand trap away for a transcode, and then you'll blue bring back pink, right? So you're 1, 2, 3, and then you'll make a trouble sunny for 4. And this is a way to OTK while playing around noobs as well. So now you've got a 28 and a 38, right? And then you tag out this, and it's more than game. It's like 9,200, I believe. So like, and you get to like clear a bunch of cards because you have a trouble sunny engrave. You get to pop, you get to draw. You're targeting protection, so you don't have to worry about like imperm on your trouble sunny or anything. It's insane. All these cards are really, really good. So there's that, and then the Zeus package. Sky Cavalry, Centuria, Downard, and Zeus. I really thought about not playing this, but knowing that I had this as a backup in my deck made me so much more confident in my plays. Because it gave me like a backup plan if, you know, worst came to worst. So this card was insane. I used it against that Tinny Swordsoul player. I still ended up losing that game, but it was kind of cute to like crash this into the Griffin and then like make a Zeus and clear the board. It almost won me that game. If they just wouldn't have top decked better than me, then who knows how it would have gone. But so yeah, that's it. That's my deck profile. I really hope y'all enjoy. If y'all have any other questions or anything, let me know. I'm having a lot of fun with this format, and I'm hoping to do a lot more moving forward. So that'll be it, and that is Avon signing out.